Tyler, my water just broke. We need to go to the hospital now. I stood there, clutching my swollen belly, pain surging through me. The life we had planned for months, about to arrive in the next few hours. Tyler stood by the door, suitcase in hand. He glanced at me, his expression a mask of annoyance. You've got to be kidding me. I have a flight to catch. For a moment, I thought I heard him wrong. What about our baby? Please, just call an ambulance. He didn't even flinch. Not my problem. Handle it yourself, Aaron. I watched him walk out the door, the weight of his abandonment crashing over me harder than any contraction. Gathering all the courage I could muster, I fumbled for my phone, dialing 911. As the operator's calm voice guided me through, the panic started to ebb. Help is on the way, ma'am. Stay calm. Minutes felt like hours, but finally the ambulance's siren wailed in the distance, a sound that brought a sliver of hope. The paramedics arrived, a blur of efficient motions and soothing reassurances. Hang in there, ma'am. We're getting you to the hospital, said one paramedic, his voice grounded and steady. Thank you, was all I could whisper, tears mingling with sweat on my face. The ride was a whirlwind, the pain of labor blending with the emotional tumult of Tyler's betrayal. As I lay on the gurney in the hospital corridor, nurses and doctors bustling around, I clung to one thought. I had to be strong for my baby. I had to survive this, with or without Tyler. They wheeled me into the delivery room, bright lights above me. The doctor, a calm middle-aged woman, leaned over. You're doing great, Aaron. Just stay with us. Each contraction tore through me, but with every push, I imagined the tiny life fighting alongside me. Faces blurred, voices rose and fell in a rhythmic cadence of medical urgency. Almost there, Aaron. One more big push. With a final guttural cry, the room filled with the first sound of my baby's wail, the sweetest noise I had ever heard. The nurse placed my baby boy on my chest, his small body warm and wriggling. He's perfect, I whispered, tears streaming down my face, mingling with the sweat and exhaustion. I held him close, feeling a surge of fierce protectiveness that left no room for the pain of Tyler's departure. Rachel arrived not long after, her face a mix of concern and relief. Oh my God, Aaron, how are you? I could barely manage a smile. We're okay, Rachel. He's perfect. Rachel's eyes softened as she looked at the baby. He is, and so are you. She squeezed my hand, her presence a balm to my raw emotions. I can't believe he just left, I murmured, my voice trembling. Rachel's grip tightened. We'll deal with him later. Right now, focus on you and the baby. I nodded, feeling a resolve harden within me. Tyler had walked out at our most critical moment, but I wasn't alone. I had my baby, and I had Rachel. In that hospital room, amidst the sterile walls and beeping monitors, a new chapter of my life began. One where I would rely on my inner strength and the support of true friends to navigate the storm ahead. 3 years earlier, life felt like a dream. Tyler's smile could light up a room, and his laugh made everything feel right. Our romance was quick. From first dates to wedding vows, it was like a storybook come to life. One sunny morning, he leaned down and kissed me softly as I finished making pancakes. Aaron, I have news, he said, excitement brightening his eyes. What is it? I asked, curiosity piqued. We're going to be parents, he announced, showing the positive pregnancy test. I was ecstatic, tears of joy filling my eyes. We hugged, our hearts beating in sync, full of love and hope. Life was good, at least it seemed that way. My best friend Rachel shared our happiness. She was always around, her laughter a comforting presence. But recently she'd noticed something off about Tyler. One evening she came over, a serious look on her face. Aaron, can we talk? Sure. What's up? I set down my cup of tea, sensing the gravity in her tone. Have you noticed anything strange about Tyler lately? Rachel asked, her eyes searching mine. I frowned. What do you mean? He's been acting different, more distant. I've seen him at odd places, Rachel explained, concern etching her features. Before I could respond, there was a knock on the door. Tyler walked in, a briefcase in hand, flashing his usual charming smile. Hey, Rachel, everything okay? She forced a smile. Yeah, just catching up with Aaron. Days passed and Tyler's behavior grew more erratic. Late nights, secretive phone calls, a pattern that sent chills down my spine. Rachel remained vigilant, her suspicions hardening into certainty. One Sunday afternoon, as we sat on the porch, Rachel finally revealed what she had found. Aaron, I don't know how to say this, but I've seen Tyler with another woman. Multiple times. Her words hit like a sledgehammer. That can't be right. We're about to have a baby. Maybe it was work-related? She shook her head, eyes solemn. It looked far from professional. A wave of doubt and heartbreak washed over me, leaving me struggling for breath. My mind raced to every moment Tyler had seemed off, every time he brushed off my concerns. Trying to hold it together, I asked, "Do you know who she is?" "Her name is Haley," Rachel replied softly, her expression full of sympathy. Stunned, I sat in silence, of the weight of Rachel's words pressing down on me. Tyler's betrayal was a knife in my heart, the blade twisting deeper with every revelation. Before long, every interaction with Tyler felt like walking on glass. His irritability, his secretive nature, it was all becoming too much to bear. Each day I pretended everything was fine, but every night my emotions betrayed me, tears soaking my pillow. Rachel stayed by my side, her support a lifeline. "We'll figure this out, Erin. You deserve better." As my pregnancy progressed, I focused on the life growing inside me, clinging to the promise of a fresh start. The day of Tyler's flight departure, I knew it was time to face the truth, no matter how painful. For now, I stayed quiet, gathering strength. Tyler's deceit would not be the end of my story. It was just the beginning of a fight for truth and for the future my baby and I deserved. Rachel's unwavering support was the anchor keeping me steady, and I knew together we would confront the storm and find the light beyond. Living under the same roof as Tyler became unbearable. Every interaction was tense, each moment fraught with unspoken accusations. He avoided eye contact, and his phone was always on silent, tucked away from prying eyes. One evening, as I sat on the couch, my swollen feet propped up, Tyler walked in, scratching at his neck. "Erin, where's my charger?" he asked, not even glancing in my direction. "Did you check the kitchen?" I replied, my voice betraying the weariness I felt. He grunted in response, stormed off, and returned moments later with the charger. He plugged in his phone, eyes darting nervously to make sure I wasn't watching. I noticed his growing irritability but kept quiet, focusing on preparing for our baby's arrival. Each day brought its challenges, but Rachel's presence was a constant reassurance. One afternoon, Rachel came over, her eyes blazing with determination. She handed me a folder. "Erin, you need to see this." I opened it to find pictures of Tyler with Haley. They were at a luxury spa, laughing and holding hands. I stared at the photos, the betrayal stinging anew. "I can't believe this is real," I whispered, trying to steady my shaking hands. Rachel's voice was firm. "Erin, you have to confront him. He can't keep doing this to you." That night, I waited for Tyler to come home. He strolled in, whistling as if everything was normal. I cleared my throat and faced him. "Tyler, we need to talk." He sighed dramatically. "What now, Erin?" I held up the photos, my voice trembling with controlled rage. "Who is Haley? Are you cheating on me?" His eyes widened for a split second before narrowing. "Are you serious? You're imagining things, Erin. Get a grip." I shook my head, tears threatening to spill. "You've been distant and secretive. This isn't just my imagination." Tyler stepped closer, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "You're letting pregnancy hormones mess with your head. Stop reading into things." I felt a surge of anger. "These pictures don't lie, Tyler. Explain them." He snatched the photos from my hand, this crumpling them. "Just drop it, Erin. If you can't handle it, maybe you're the problem." That night I couldn't sleep. Rachel had warned me, but hearing Tyler's denial, his blatant disregard for our relationship, I knew I couldn't let it slide. The next day, Rachel urged me to consider hiring a private investigator. "You need solid proof if you're going to take action," she said. I hesitated, weighing the options. "I just want to know the truth." As the days passed, Tyler's behavior only worsened. One morning, he snapped at me for no reason, his face twisted in anger. "Why can't you just let things be, Erin?" His words cut deep, but I stood my ground. "Because you owe me the truth, Tyler. We're a family, or at least we were." He scoffed, storming out, leaving me standing there, clutching my growing belly. With every passing day, my resolve hardened. Rachel's investigations revealed more about Haley, confirming my worst fears. Tyler was living a double life, and it was time for the facade to fall. Feeling a familiar tightening in my abdomen, I realized my confrontation with Tyler would have to wait. I wrapped my arms protectively around my belly, readying myself for the next battle. Bringing my baby into this world, surrounded by love and truth, no matter how much it hurt. Tyler came home late that evening, his footsteps heavy against the hardwood floor. I was waiting for him in the living room, my laptop open on the coffee table. "We need to talk," I said, my voice firm. He sighed, rubbing his temples. "Here we go again. What is it now, Aaron?" My heart pounded, but I forced myself to stay calm. "Who is Haley? And don't say I'm imagining things. Rachel saw you two together." Tyler's face twisted in irritation. "Are you serious? Rachel's spying on me now? This is insane." I leaned forward, my hands gripping the edge of the couch. "Insane is you lying to me. Insane is living a double life while your wife is pregnant." He waved his hand dismissively. "You're blowing things out of proportion. Haley is just a colleague." "Colleagues don't hold hands, Tyler. They don't get seen together at luxury spas," I retorted, my voice rising with each word. Tyler's eyes narrowed. "You're acting paranoid because of your hormones. Get a grip, Aaron." "Stop using that excuse," I shouted, unable to contain my frustration any longer. "Did you think I wouldn't find out? Did you think I would just sit here and pretend everything's fine?" Tyler glared at me, his voice cold. "You're making a scene over nothing. Just back off and leave it alone." Summoning every ounce of courage, I took a deep breath and said, "I'm considering hiring a private investigator. I need to know the full truth." He scoffed. "Oh, perfect. Waste more money on your pointless paranoia. Do whatever you want, Aaron. I don't care." Before I could respond, a sharp pain surged through my abdomen. I winced, clutching my belly. "Aaron, what's wrong?" Tyler asked, his tone laced with annoyance, not concern. I think the baby's coming," I managed to say through gritted teeth. Tyler checked his watch, then shook his head. "I have a flight in an hour. Call Rachel or something." With that, he grabbed his suitcase and left, the door clicking shut behind him. I couldn't believe what just happened, but there was no time to dwell on it. I grabbed my phone and dialed Rachel. "Rachel, it's time. I need to get to the hospital." Rachel's voice was calm but urgent. "I'm on my way. Hang tight." When Rachel arrived, she found me pacing in the living room, breathing heavily. She slipped her arm around me, supporting my weight. "Let's go, Aaron. It'll be okay." We hurried to her car, speeding to the hospital. By the time we got there, the contractions were coming fast and hard. The nurses quickly set me up in a room, Rachel never leaving my side. "You're doing great, Aaron. Just breathe," she kept saying, her presence a lifeline in the chaos. The hours blurred together as I battled through the pain, a mix of fear and determination, driving me forward. Finally, with one last push, I heard my baby's first cry. They placed him on my chest, his tiny body warm against me. "He's beautiful," Rachel whispered, tears in her eyes. I held my son close, tears streaming down my face. In that moment, I knew what I had to do. Tyler could abandon us, lie and cheat, but I wouldn't let him break me. Our lives would move forward, powered by love and truth. Rachel's steadfast support was proof I wasn't alone. Together, we'd face whatever came next, our bond stronger than any betrayal. Tyler's absence during labor filled me with a resolve I didn't know I had. As I cradled my newborn son in the hospital room, exhaustion mingled with fierce determination. Rachel was by my side when the nurse handed me my discharge papers. "Ready?" she asked, knowing the answer was anything but simple. "Yeah, let's get home," I replied, strapping my son into his car seat. Rachel gripped my shoulder, offering silent support. We arrived at the house to find Tyler's car gone, a note on the counter, "Work trip, be back in a week." Typical. I sank into the couch, the reality of my situation crashing down. "I can't believe he just left. Again," I muttered. Rachel nodded, anger flashing in her eyes. "He won't get away with this, Aaron. We'll figure it out." Days passed in a blur, as I adjusted to life with a newborn and the gnawing presence of Tyler's infidelity. Rachel helped where she could, but the burden weighed heavily. One evening, while feeding my son, the door swung open. Tyler strutted in, suitcase in tow, acting as if nothing had changed. "How's everything?" he asked nonchalantly. I stared at him, incredulous. "How do you think it is, Tyler? You left me alone to give birth." He smirked, shrugging his shoulders. "I had a work trip. You knew that." "A work trip?" I echoed, my voice trembling with anger. "You abandoned us." He rolled his eyes. "I don't see what the big deal is. You're fine." Rachel stepped in, unable to contain herself. "You're unbelievable, Tyler. Aaron needs support, and you're off gallivanting with Haley." He shot her a venomous glare. "Stay out of it, Rachel. This is between me and my wife." I handed my son to Rachel, standing to face Tyler. Enough, Tyler. I want a divorce. He laughed, a cruel sound in the quiet room. You're not serious. I am. I can't do this anymore. You've broken every vow you ever made, and I won't raise our child in this toxic environment. Tyler's expression shifted from disbelief to anger. You think you can just walk away? Good luck. You'll be crawling back in no time. Rachel intervened, her voice steady. She's stronger than you know, Tyler. She doesn't need you. Tyler stormed out, leaving the house eerily quiet. Rachel turned to me, her face softened by concern. Are you sure about this? I nodded, my resolve unshakable. He made his choice. Now I'm making mine. The next morning I started the paperwork, determined to separate from Tyler legally and emotionally. Rachel helped every step of the way, ensuring I had everything in order. As the weeks passed, Tyler's absence became the new norm. I focused on my son and building a stable life for us. Moments of self-doubt surfaced, but Rachel's unwavering support kept me grounded. One afternoon, as we walked through the park, Rachel's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, then at me. You won't believe this. I've found undeniable proof of Tyler's affair. I took a deep breath, ready for the next step. Show me. Rachel revealed the photos and messages, the final nails in the coffin of my marriage. With this evidence, I knew I could secure not only a divorce, but also full custody of my son. In that moment, standing in the park with Rachel and my baby, I felt a surge of clarity. Tyler's departure marked the beginning of our new life, one built on strength, resilience, and the support of those who truly cared. It was time to fully embrace this fresh start and leave the pain behind. The next few days were a whirlwind. Rachel and I gathered all the evidence she had uncovered, each piece of it a knife that cut through the remnants of my trust in Tyler. Armed with photos, messages, and receipts, I felt a mix of determination and dread. One evening, as I fed my baby, the front door clicked open. Tyler stepped in, looking more disheveled than usual. I didn't expect you to still be here, he muttered, setting his bag down with a thud. I stayed calm, sparing him a glance. We need to talk, he scoffed, looking around the room. What now, Aaron? More accusations? I kept my voice steady. Rachel found more evidence, pictures, messages, everything showing your affair with Haley. Tyler's eyes widened before quickly narrowing. Rachel, this is harassment, pure and simple. I shook my head. No, Tyler, this is the truth. I handed him the folder, watching his expression shift from anger to panic. He threw the papers across the room, making the baby cry. This is nonsense. I can explain. Rachel stepped in, cradling my son, soothing him. Explain what, Tyler? You're a liar, plain and simple. Tyler lunged towards her, but I stepped between them, blocking his path. This is over, Tyler. I'm moving out. You're making a big mistake, Aaron, he growled, his voice full of venom. I'm doing what's best for our son, I replied, meeting his gaze with unwavering resolve. The next morning, I packed our belongings. Rachel arrived in her truck, ready to help. You're making the right decision, she said, hugging me tightly. By the time Tyler returned from work, the house was nearly empty. He stared in disbelief. You're really leaving? I nodded, feeling the weight lift off my shoulders. Yes, Tyler. I'm done. We moved in with Rachel temporarily. Her home was a sanctuary, a place where love and support replaced anger and betrayal. I focused on my son, finding strength in his innocent smiles. Rachel continued her investigations, determined to uncover every detail of Tyler's infidelity. One afternoon, she called me over to her laptop. Aaron, you need to see this. She showed me a series of photos, each more damning than the last. Tyler and Haley were more than colleagues. They were inseparable. Enough is enough, I said, my voice steady. It's time to confront him publicly. We planned the confrontation carefully. Tyler's company's annual gala was approaching, a perfect opportunity to expose him in front of his peers. I dressed confidently for the event, a stark contrast to the timid woman I had been. As we arrived, I spotted Tyler laughing with his colleagues. Rachel handed me the microphone. You've got this, Aaron. I took a deep breath and stepped onto the stage, catching Tyler's eye. His smile faltered as I began. Ladies and gentlemen, I have something to share, I announced, holding up the evidence. Tyler, would you care to explain these photos and texts? Gasps echoed through the room as the evidence displayed on the screen behind me. Tyler stormed towards me, fury in his eyes. Aaron, what the hell are you doing? This is insane! I stood my ground, my voice unwavering. No, Tyler, What's insane is betraying your pregnant wife and abandoning her during labor. The crowd murmured, his colleagues looking on in shock and anger. Tyler's boss stepped forward, his face stern. Tyler, I think it's best if you leave. We'll discuss your position on Monday. Haley, who had been standing to the side, turned and walked away, her face pale. Tyler's world crumbled before him, his reputation shattered in seconds. As I walked off the stage, I felt a sense of closure. The past was behind me, and the path ahead was clear. Rachel met me at the door, her smile full of pride. You did it, Aaron. I nodded, holding my son close. We did it. In that moment, I knew we would be just fine, ready to embrace whatever came next. The morning after the gala, the news of Tyler's public disgrace was all over social media. His reputation was in tatters. At Rachel's house, we sat in the kitchen, the baby gurgling happily in his high chair. Rachel scrolled through her phone, shaking her head. Aaron, you should see what people are saying. Tyler's getting slammed, Rachel said, passing me the phone. The comments were brutal. Colleagues, acquaintances, even strangers expressing their disgust. Yet, a sense of vindication washed over me. Suddenly, my phone vibrated. The caller ID flashed Tyler's name. Taking a deep breath, I answered. Aaron, Tyler's voice cracked. Can we talk? There's nothing left to discuss, Tyler, I said firmly. Please, Aaron, I lost my job. I'm sorry for everything, he pleaded. Sorry doesn't change what you did. It doesn't erase the lies or the betrayal, I responded, my voice unwavering. He was silent for a moment, then said, I need to see our son. I have rights. Your actions have consequences, Tyler. We'll see what the court has to say about your rights. I hung up, feeling a mix of relief and resolve. Rachel looked at me, her eyes filled with sympathy. You okay? I nodded. Better than ever. Over the next few weeks, Tyler's life continued to spiral. He struggled to find employment, his savings dwindling fast. Haley vanished from his life, distancing herself from the fallout. Meanwhile, I focused on building a stable life for my son and me. Rachel and I found a small, cozy apartment. It wasn't much, but it was ours, a fresh start. One afternoon, as I settled into our new place, Rachel burst in, waving an envelope. Aaron, these are the divorce papers. She handed them to me with a smile. Tyler has been served. A weight lifted off my shoulders as I signed them. Thank you, Rachel, for everything. Rachel grinned. You're strong, Aaron. Stronger than you know. The next step was custody. My lawyer, who Rachel had recommended, gathered all the evidence of Tyler's neglect and infidelity. We were prepared for the hearing, confident justice would be on our side. On the day of the hearing, Tyler showed up looking defeated. He glanced at me, his eyes pleading, but I held his gaze firmly, feeling no sympathy. The judge reviewed our case, the evidence compelling. Tyler's behavior was indefensible. The verdict was swift, sole custody awarded to me. Tyler was granted limited visitation, under supervision. As we left the courtroom, Tyler approached me, desperation in his voice. Aaron, I made a mistake. Can we try to work this out? I shook my head, resolute. There's nothing to work out, Tyler. This is your mess to clean up. My life and my baby's future are better without you. Tyler's shoulders slumped, defeated. I walked away, Rachel by my side, feeling stronger and more in control than ever. Life continued to improve. I secured a new job, balancing work and motherhood with Rachel's unwavering support. Every small victory, every smile from my son reinforced my decision. One evening, as we celebrated another milestone, Rachel raised her glass. To new beginnings and the incredible strength of the human spirit. Aaron, you and your son deserve every happiness. I clinked my glass with hers, smiling brightly. To new beginnings. As I looked around at the life I had begun to rebuild, I knew the worst was behind us. No matter what challenges lay ahead, we were ready. Tyler's departure and the betrayal had forged a resilience that would carry us through any storm. With Rachel's friendship, my son's love, and the newfound strength within me, I was ready to embrace the future with hope, confidence, and the knowledge that we were finally free. Tyler's life continued its downward spiral. He'd lost his job, Haley was gone, and he was struggling with mounting debts. One afternoon, I received an unexpected call from Amanda, Tyler's estranged mother. Aaron, I know it's been a long time, but I'd like to meet and talk, she said, her voice tinged with worry. I hesitated before agreeing to meet her at a nearby cafe. When I arrived, Amanda looked worn, her eyes reflecting years of unresolved tension. Thank you for coming, she said softly. What do you want, Amanda? I asked, keeping my tone respectful yet guarded. She sighed deeply. I've heard about everything. Tyler's downfall, the divorce. I needed to see you. I appreciate your concern, but Tyler's choices are his own, I replied, crossing my arms. Amanda nodded. That's true, but there are things you need to know about his past. His father, our family life. It wasn't easy. His behavior, while inexcusable, has roots in deep fears and unresolved trauma. I narrowed my eyes. And why tell me this now? Because you deserve to know what shaped him. Not to excuse it, but to understand, she replied, her voice trembling. I listened as she recounted the years of neglect, the emotional abuse Tyler had suffered from his father. It painted a picture of a boy desperate for validation, who grew into a man incapable of commitment and honesty. He needs help, Aaron, Amanda said, tears welling up. He's my son, and I fear what might happen if he doesn't get it. I paused, absorbing her words. I'll consider it, Amanda, but my priority is my son. Amanda looked relieved, reaching out to squeeze my hand. You're a strong woman, Aaron. Thank you for listening. As I left the cafe, my phone buzzed with a text from Rachel. How did it go? I replied. Complicated. I'll fill you in later. Back at home, I focused on my son, playing and laughing with him. His joy was infectious, a reminder of the bright future I was building. Rachel came over later, settling in with a cup of coffee. So what did Amanda say? Rachel asked, curiosity evident in her eyes. I recounted the conversation, Rachel listening intently. Sounds heavy, she said, frowning, but it doesn't change what Tyler did. No, it doesn't, I agreed, but maybe understanding his past can help us navigate the future. Over time, the memories of betrayal dulled, replaced by new ones filled with love and growth. Tyler tried to contact me a few more times, each plea sounding more desperate. I remained firm, focusing on forging a new path for my son and me. One day, while at the park, I saw Tyler from a distance. He looked disheveled, his haggard frame a stark contrast to the man I once knew. He spotted us and approached cautiously. Aaron, can we talk? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. I stood tall, my son's hand in mine. There's nothing left to say, Tyler. You need to focus on your own recovery. He nodded slowly, eyes filled with regret. I'm trying, Aaron. I really am. Good, I replied, turning to leave. For your sake and ours. Walking away, I felt a sense of closure. Tyler's choices and the pain they caused had shaped us, but they didn't define us. With Rachel's unwavering support and the love for my son, I was ready to embrace the future. As the sun set, casting a warm glow on the park, I knew we were headed towards brighter days. The past was behind us and the road ahead was ours to conquer. Stronger, wiser, and forever resilient, we continued forward, ready for whatever life had in store.